back here for week 2 of 52 weeks of getting to know me, based off of my book, 52 Weeks of Getting to Know You. So, as a reminder, in my book, you're supposed to do this with one other person. It could be any person that you want, no matter how well you think you know them, or if they are brand new in your life, and you just want to get to know them from the beginning. Every week, there is one question that you will both answer to the best of your ability with as much information as you can, digging as deep as you can, but keep in mind, depending on who it is you're trying to get to know, you may not want to fully open up if it's kind of a new coworker or something that you're not at that level yet. So, just like an onion or a tree, we all have different layers, and how deep of a layer you go is up to you based off of who you are getting to know. So, also every week I give a little tidbit of information behind the question that's being asked, as well as there is an activity for both of you to complete over the course of the next week until you meet again. So, the question part of it, like this, is meant to last maybe 30 minutes. Of course, it can go as long as you want. You can always catch up on how your week went, what's going on in your life, all of that after this. But it can take as little as 30 minutes for both of you to go over your question. Now, don't forget, it's really important to write down the answers in your notebook. You don't have to do it right then and there. You want to focus on the other person that you're talking to, give your full attention to them, but before it gets too late. So by the time that you get home, or if you're already home and you're doing this on the phone, just remember, don't take too long to write down their answers in your notebook before you forget it. Part of writing it down is it truly helps us remember what it is that we're learning. So the other day I looked at MapQuest for directions, and just as an example, I read the directions, I can see the directions, but by the time you get there, you don't remember how many good songs came on the radio that you're singing along to, how many, roadkill did you see that just distracted your mind, So I wrote the directions down, thankfully, and I remembered it. I only had to look twice at my notes, but I did remember parts of my directions. No, I don't have navigation on my car. Yeah, I can look it up on the phone, but, back in the day, we actually had road atlases. We had maps. We didn't have MapQuest, but not going there. Okay. Anyway, after the course of this year, that notebook that you write down all of your answers in is supposed to be something that you can look back upon. You can always add questions to it. You can add extra information that you think will pertain to that person, but then you will have an entire notebook dedicated to the other person. And I think it's wonderful. I mean, how many times do your kids come and say, hey, and tell you about something, and 2 days later they ask you a question and I have no idea what you're talking about. Mom, I told you. You did? I don't remember. I can admit that. It's okay, because you know what? My kids do it to me too. And once again, that's part of writing things down. It helps us to remember the information that we are receiving. So, tidbit of information on me right now, as you guys get through these videos and get to know me, is I am that type of person of, if you give a mouse a cookie, meaning I'll start off on one thing and then I think about something else and go to that, and then that reminds me of this, and then I go to do that, and eventually it's this whole thing, and I will get back to that cookie, but it's going to be a roundabout way. So, that's me. I can take a 2-minute discussion with my kids about picking up a sock off the floor, and it turns into 2.5 hours of a lecture that I have then given going all the way around, even the cotton that was made to create the sock and the labor that went into it, and the kids are sitting there on the couch with their eyes rolled back in their heads, drool coming out of their mouth going, oh my God, when is it going to end? Yeah, that's me. Hi. So, anyways, enjoy this, knowing that yes, there's somebody out there that's just as crazy, potentially, as you. That's me. Once again, I don't edit my videos. This is life. I'm going to stumble over my words. I'm going to forget what it was that I was talking about. It's life. Have fun with it. You're not meant to be perfect. You're not supposed to be perfect. You can't edit everything out that wasn't great. So, I'm working on that myself. I know I can spout things off, and I have to also remind myself of this, that it's okay to not be perfect. So, week 2, another question from my book that I wrote is, what is something wild and crazy that you have wanted to do? How long have you wanted to do it? And why have you not done it yet? So, this is kind of a 3-part question here. And first off, everybody's definition of wild and crazy is truly something different. So, wild and crazy to one person could mean putting their peanut butter and jelly on the same slice of toast. Shock. Oh my gosh. Wild and crazy to somebody else could be someone like me walking around in the woods by myself. You may not think that's wild and crazy, but let me tell you, I came across a footprint on the way walking around here, and I love my hikes. I love being out in nature. I love being by myself. But this paw print looked to be canine and was the same size as my palm. Just the print part of it, not including the claws or anything. So that's pretty big. It reminds me of my Great Danes that I had, and I miss them, and it makes me wish that I had them with me. But sorry, I'm still emotional about it. But that's wild and crazy to somebody else, is walking around on your own when there could be danger. But me, personally, I don't see that as wild and crazy. It's part of me, it's part of who I am. I like to be in nature on my own. So, once again, wild and crazy is different to many people out there. So, wild and crazy for me would be, I would love to go bungee jumping and skydiving. I think that would be an absolute rush. I love roller coasters. I really do. And I love the takeoffs and the landings of airplanes, and I like that feel in the pit of your stomach as you're just going woo, and then the huge drop, and I love it. So the closest I've been to it would be one day my best friend Shallon. Hi Shallon, if you're watching this. We had gone to an amusement park with another friend of hers as well, and we paid extra to go on this one ride that you lay down Superman style. So all 3 of us are laying down like this on this kind of board thing, and there's a chain that's pulling us back all the way up in the air, and you can see the entire park and the highway and everybody way up there. And then you have a little rope that you had to pull. So as you pull it, that chain lets go, and you just free fall, and then it's like a big swing just going back and forth. And man, that was awesome. That was a lot of fun, and I know that bungee jumping and skydiving would be even more of a thrill than that, and I'd love to do that someday. How long have I wanted to do it? Long time. Very long time. Going back, I would say maybe 14 or so, maybe 12, so That'd be my youngest, my twins, about that time frame. And why have I not done it yet is because when I've been old enough to do it, there's always been something that's come up to not allow me to do it. So, extra information on that, but I had my kids when I was young, and there's no such thing as extra money when you raise children on one income. So that's the basics of it. That stuff is expensive, and I've never been able to justify the expense of that. I don't see it worth the money when you don't have that money. So that's completely who I am. That's why I have not been able to even adopt another dog as much as I would love to, but dog adoptions, it's expensive, and I can't do it. You know, I live in the country, and I don't have cowboy boots yet. Do you have any idea how expensive those are? And it's almost a necessity out here, let me tell you. My feet get soaked and muddy, and I look like I'm going across a minefield as I'm trying to hop from spot of grass to spot of grass, trying to avoid the mud. And there's times where I just end up slipping and sliding, and anyway, squirrel moment. Once again, I can just go off on conversations as I get more comfortable with you and get to know you, and vice versa. That's just who I am, and after all, this is getting to know me for those of you out there. So, hopefully I don't scare you from watching my videos again with how emotional I can be, but once again, that's life. It's how I am. I swear I never used to be so sensitive before I had kids. And after having children, I'm the type of person, I will cry on those stupid coffee commercials. They're not really stupid. They're very touching sometimes, but they'll make me cry. And I don't like that. I'm trying to toughen myself back up, but it's hard. It's really hard, especially the more that life goes on and everything. So anyway, I will quit talking for now. Thank you for joining me on week 2 of getting to know me, and I truly hope that you do enjoy this and that you do check out my book and try to find somebody in your life that you would like to get to know better. And yeah, you might know that their favorite color is yellow, but do you know why it's yellow? No, that's not my favorite color. But anyways, if you would like to reach out to me, once again, I've given my email address out. It's also in the back of my book. Please feel free to comment on my videos if you want, or email me, reach out to me. I would love to talk to you. No, I'm not Dean Koontz or Stephen King, but I'm working on it. Maybe someday, maybe not, and I'm okay with that. But anyway, I will let you go. I promise. I know, I've said it so many times. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Happy Sunday, and I will talk to you again next week. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.